What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. You're seeing kind of the rise of a new definition for an old term. There used to be a term called, there is a term called black fatigue, which used to mean the general tiredness from, I don't know, all sorts of whatever, the pressures of just being black, apparently. I'd never heard that term, but obviously I'm not in that community. So maybe it was more prevalently used there. I don't know. But there is a new term, there is a new definition that has taken over that is, quite frankly, gaining a lot of momentum. And it's concerning because I don't like where this is heading. I don't think this is going to end well for anybody. But the new definition of black fatigue is, in general, a general malaise or tiredness of folks seeing, videos or experiencing crime at the hands of this community. Now, obviously, all communities, participate in stupid crime against each other. But right now, I think algorithmically on places like X, perhaps even in a psyop, it all started with Carmelo Anthony. And the Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case was kind of the last, the big domino or the smaller domino that unleashed the larger domino of Shiloh raising nearly $1 million for, having an excited utterance of a particular word at a kid who was stealing from her. And this story went viral over the weekend. I thought I would cover it because it's extremely frustrating that, I want this to get cleaned up before it gets out of control. Before other, we said biker gangs driving around and handling business. I don't want to get to that level. But here is two Indiana boys, quote, make up after one of the boys got jumped in a park in Madison, Indiana. By the way, these are like 8 and 10-year-old kids. Why are they participating in this type of behavior? I have never seen ever this type of, activity in parks or even at schools. I mean, I've seen fights before, but not like this, which I'm going to show you. After the beating rocked the community, local leaders, including a group of bikers, held a meetup to support the victim, Jason. Obviously, I think you could probably put it together. The victim is a little white boy and who was jumped by several non-white boys. The mother of the boys say he was at the park when he was jumped. She says there's been a history of issues with these boys in the community. These kids are so disrespectful. They throw trash over my fence into my yard, throw rocks at my dogs. Last year, they were using those Orbeez, which I think those are like those little white BBs or water-filled BBs. They would fire them at their dogs. Anytime I would confront them and ask for a parent, it's threats of their parents. They say their parents have weapons and that you don't want to meet them. The other boy's father, Desi May, said in a post shared by Kevin Hummel Sr. on Facebook, there seems to be no accountability for these young ones or anyone able to track down their parents. Here's a small clip of it. I'm not going to show the aftermath because it's probably kind of, I don't want to humiliate this kid, but you can see there's some sort of...
You want to come up behind me and kick me in the back? No.
So these kids are picking on this kid. Look, he's a little chubby kid. Chubby kids get picked on. That's kind of the way it goes. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's whatever, but they were probably picking on him. And you can see all these other kids that appear to be a lot older, circling around. And then this little future scientist hits this kid. This other kid obviously doesn't know how to fight. It's, he's trying to throw flying leg kicks or whatever. But what happens is, now, of course, as always, yet another kid jumps in, a much older kid, it would appear. looks like a teenager, blindsides him, right? Because like a real hero, this little kid in the red shirt starts the fight. This kid in the black shirt, which is probably his older brother, or another older kid, gets in, and then they get on top of this kid and they pummel him. I'm not going to show everything. Now here, so then they share, then the community gets together and they're like, oh, look, they made up. Well, they in fact did not make up. And this roving gang of youths is still terrorizing the community and this kid too. So there's this post here from Kevin Hummel Sr. It's starting to sink in what we accomplished last Sunday, which has never been done before. As a business owner, I was nervous about making calls, knowing that if things went south, I would lose everything. It was worrisome situation. Some people were advising me against it, while others were sending me texts saying we needed to pull the community together as one. I was concerned that this was a gray area, but after discussing it with many people, they were ready to move forward. So I started making phone calls to the individuals. I knew that would be the right thing. So this guy, I can't really tell who he is, Kevin Hummel Sr., gets these kids together for a photo op. Here's Yolanda. Sometimes we have to sit at tables we aren't wanted and wanted. What? Not wanted and wanted. In the beginning, this was just a kid, but after several meetings and the calls, the narrative changed and the adults knew it had to be about the boys and any other blah, 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 God this, God that. No, this is all fake, right? Kid got jumped. A group of kids decided to threaten and throw things at our dog, then proceed to jump my son as he tried to walk away, which is all on video. He had to get stitches. Truly, I'm angry. These kids are so incredibly disrespectful. They throw trash over my fence. I'm thankful Jason's okay, and I'm praying hard. And, ultimately, why is this muted? Oh, okay. Maybe they are a clickbait account. I'm not sure. This was a fake ending. They did not, in fact. You can see we found her mother, and Dylan Dennis has been talking with her. Terrible story. This says, I'm taking pictures. He knows now to take pictures of these kids so we can try to be aware of where their parents are aware. The two boys are facing charges. Good, by the way. And by the way, stop letting this crap off the hook. Those boys should get charges. They attacked him. They jumped him. There's a crime for that. The other little boy seemed to be defending himself, although he never even touched the other kids. So Dylan Dennis comes around. I'm unfamiliar with him. He's a fighter, I think. Saying, I promise I'm going to get support for Jason, get him into a gym so he knows how to fight. We also can work on helping you out financially. A lot of people online have your back. Let me handle a few things. We'll fix this. This woman just wants to move out of this community. It's been so overwhelmed with all this. Plus, with my place of employment, I have to be careful. This is the mom. I want my son to get support and connection with men who have good character and values. I'm doing my best as a single mom of 4. Yikes. His mother is a POS. His father's a POS. Well, that's what she says. And has drugged Dre through so much. He has disappeared again. Jason is still dealing with bullies, and I can't get any backup when these incidents occur. I'm taking pictures, and he knows now to take pictures of these kids so we can try and be aware of them. The two boys, by the way, are facing charges thanks to the awareness spread by this. She goes on to say that it, in fact, has not gotten better. By the way, no charges, no suspension, not even a slap on the wrist, just a shiny award they gave these kids because, I don't know, people try to do the right thing. They try to do the right thing, but, and yet the parents made him humiliate himself and forgive his attackers. Yeah, people are tired of this, People are tired of headlines like this. Oops, it looks like the New York Post deleted it. Why do you think the New York Post deleted this? Well, because Swiftie College co-ed lost her life as she slept due to career criminal who broke in and then went on a shopping spree with her credit cards. Who would you think is the career criminal in this picture? Yeah, the New York Post posted a picture of her father instead of the man that took her life. This is why people are fatigued, okay? The New York Post was getting brutally ratioed in this until they finally deleted it. And, why is this kid You know, a Swiftie. Why does that matter? It doesn't. You know, just as evil as it gets. By the way, this guy that took her life, okay, took her life for credit cards, which she probably would have freely gave him. He has 40 plus other convictions. 40 charges, free walk, roaming the streets, taking the life. I mean, at what point are we going to get some protection for our communities? Again, I'm not pretending that white people don't commit crimes or the Asian people don't commit crimes, but I would like to see all these videos of a bunch of white kids ganging up on some black kid in a park. Because if you believe the rhetoric, then there should be thousands of those videos. Because I see a new video every day of groups of young, unaccompanied youths committing, aggressive acts, taking people's lives, stabbing people, roaming the streets. I mean, show me the other groups of these, people that are doing the same thing. I agree they are, but how come? I mean, maybe it's just that in that community, they film it, and that's why we see so much video from it.
I'm gonna show you a godsend right here, Mr. Humble. He let these two boys pick out bikes. We got Jason.
Again, this community probably tried to do the right thing, right? They want to try to bring these kids together. They don't want it to be a race thing. I understand why they did what they did, but they still make Jason as the victim, and he basically had to humiliate himself and forgive the other kids when he was 100% in the right. This other kid should not be getting a free bike. He should be getting a free ride to jail or juvie, right? But because people are into self-flagellating themselves, the articles like this from the New York Post will continue to get posted. No graduation pic, just run-of-the-mill criminal. Again, after I quote tweeted this, they deleted it. Gee, I wonder why. It's always youths or students or whatever, and people are getting sick of it. We cannot address an issue if we cannot accurately describe what that issue is. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm done pretending like it's just some kids just some kids roughhousing, because it sure seems like there's generally, a lot of inside that community, they're doing this to each other every day, but it seems like a lot of people in other communities have to keep paying the price because they don't want to keep these people in jail. They don't want to say, they don't want to be called a racist. I don't know. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, hey, keep the criminals in jail. And these other kids that attacked this kid, they should go to jail too. And by the way, if a white guy had broken into this Swiftie's house and had the same rap sheet, I think the same thing should happen. If the race is reversed in the park, I think that the white kids should be charged. The problem is, there just isn't happening, is it? It's very frustrating to see. And it's also tiresome.